Back on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour set, Jay Croucher, Matthew Berry, and if you remember at the beginning of this year, the Roto-World Fantasy Football magazine came out, and on its cover, Tony Pollard, who joins us now, the cover guy for us on our fantasy football season. Thanks for coming by the show. You're coming off your first season as the lead running back. Of course, so many years you and Zeke were a 1-2 punch in Dallas, but how you feeling after a year with such a heavy workload?
Physically, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling good. Feel like I had a pretty good year, especially for me coming off of, a broken leg, torn ligaments in my ankle. And, I'm feeling good right now, though.
Yep. I think that kind of gets swept under the rug a bit, the fact that you did have such a major injury. I think people didn't pay as much attention to it because, it was the last game of the season for you guys. But, how is your health and how did it kind of progress the recovery throughout the year?
It was a tough injury. Treatment, rehab, that was a process, just fighting through, just talking myself into it and just getting my head back into the game. And I would say probably like midway through the season is when I felt like I was just all the way back, probably the Carolina game against the Panthers. But after that point, I felt like I was good to go.
There you go. You are a free agent this year. I'm just curious, as you head into free agency, listen, we all want as much money as we can make, right? No one's different there. But other than the financial aspect of it, is there anything you're looking for? Do you hope to come back to Dallas? Are you looking for scheme fit in terms of how you're playing, offensive line, coach, culture? What's important to you as you head into free agency?
A little bit of everything, what you said. The fit, the scheme, just somewhere I feel like I'm, I would say, you could say a little bit of everything. You said like a combination.
How they're going to utilize you? How will the coach make the best use of your skill set and everything like that? And obviously, you want a team that's got a good line.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, talking about your skill set, Tony, I think for me the most memorable game you've had it was a couple seasons ago against Minnesota, where I think you beat those guys 40-3, and you just went off as a receiver, and it was like you were playing a different sport. Is that something that you'd like to emphasize going forward, being used more as a receiver out of the backfield?
Just being able to have the ball in space, just not having to be in such tight crowds and with not much room to work with. So just having those chances where I get the ball in space and just make a play and make a guy miss. It usually turns out good.
It did feel like this year they didn't use you that. Now, obviously, because they're using you between the tackles so much, which is what often happened with Zeke last year, and so then they could get you, in motion and use you in a bunch of different ways. But do you think that was a conscious thing, or just the way the game sort of played out, or Dak wasn't looking for you as much as in the passing game because you're touching the ball so much between the tackles?
I would say I think that's just the way things played out. With different coaches, different schemes, with Kellen leaving and McCarthy taking over the play calling responsibility. So just a little bit of all of that.
Yep. So mentioned Dak there. So Dak had an awesome season. He's in the mix for MVP. What did you notice about him just changing over the past few years?
Honestly, he's been the same player since I've known him, since I came into the league and met him. He's been the same type of guy. He's the type of guy that you want around your franchise. He's the type of guy that's going to lead by example and do things the right way. Just his leadership that he displays on and off the field. And just, I would say just him leading, but what makes it so big is he's not just a vocal leader. Like, he leads by example. So he'll get out there and do the things that he's telling you or that he wants you to get better at. Like, he'll get out there with you and do it. So just having a guy like that, that's somebody you want around.
Tony, you're famously obviously from Memphis, Tennessee. Your family has a barbecue restaurant in Memphis. Tell me, what's your go-to barbecue meal? And also, if I go to this restaurant, is it all Tony Pollard jerseys and pictures or no? Can I order the Tony Pollard? Is there a meal on the menu? Talk to me about your family's restaurant.
My go-to, I would probably get a slab of ribs, dry rub. I would get some baked beans on the side. Get slice of bread to go with it, and I probably may get smoked sausage or something with coleslaw and barbecue sauce.
Okay. No, I love it. So speaking of Memphis, Memphis is a bit of a running back factory. Some great guys have come out of there, like D'Angelo Williams, Darrell Henderson, Antonio Gibson. Do you stay in touch with those guys? And do you think there's anything about just being from Memphis that produces running backs?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great bond when we were there at Memphis. All the running backs that I played at Memphis with, all in the league. So it was me, it was Darrell Henderson, you got Patrick Taylor.
Yep.
You got Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah, that's 5 of us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. And Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson, exactly.
Antonio Gibson, can't forget.
Well, listen, I can't forget Antonio Gibson. So as much as I admire your playing ability, I am a diehard Washington Commanders fan. So I've cursed your name many times as you've ripped us up. I'm curious, what am I getting in Dan Quinn as a head coach? I know he's the defensive coordinator, but you had to go against that defense in practice every single day. What am I getting in Dan Quinn?
I would say expect a completely different team. Dan Quinn is the definition of a player's coach. That's one guy who I know for sure knows how to get the most out of his players, and he makes them want to play for him. So when you have somebody like that leading the way, the team is only going to follow behind that. So I would just say expect a completely different team in a positive way.
That's the reputation. Is just like, players love playing for him, that he connects really well with players. And
Definitely.
So it felt like in Washington. Tell me if it felt like this to you when you were out there playing against them. It felt like from a fan point that they just sort of checked out, that for whatever reason maybe Rivera had lost the locker room or whatever, but it felt like the team had kind of checked out. Do you get a sense of that when you're out there against them?
Maybe for other teams,
right?
But like when teams play the Cowboys, they never check out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Everyone wants to bring their A game against Dallas.
Yeah. Last one from me, Tony, and then we'll ask you about Ascent Protein. But Super Bowl on Sunday, obviously you played the Niners earlier this year, you played them last year as well. Do you have a pick for the game? How do you think it's going to unfold?
It's going to be a good game for sure. I can't go against Mahomes.
Okay. A lot of people say that.
Yeah. He is going against Mahomes. I'm not.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not either. I'm not either. I don't get it.
I don't like the odds of that.
Okay.
So, Tony, tell us, you're here thanks to our friends at Ascent. Tell us about this and your partnership with them.
Yeah, I teamed up with Ascent spring 2023. And, they have a lot of different protein powders. They have post-workout protein. They have pre-workout proteins. They have plant-based proteins, post-workout protein powders. And, they have a lot of different flavors, different choices to pick from. And, it's just mix it with milk or water, either one, whichever one you want. And it's pretty simple.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
My favorite post-workout flavor would be chocolate and the vanilla bean.
Okay.
And the pre-workout would be the strawberry lemonade.
Interesting that you have such different choices in terms of flavors for a pre and post. Yeah, I like it.
Appreciate it. Well, listen, Tony, we're looking forward to seeing where you land next year, obviously, and you've been a superstar in the world, not only of NFL, but also fantasy football. So thank you for all the touchdowns, all the yards, all the receptions. Continued success to you, my friend.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Tony.
I appreciate it.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.